Hi, all. Welcome back to ACCFI Presents. We're going to continue with our conversation from the previous week, and we can't wait to get started. Let's get into it. I personally have been watching the product that's been coming out of your brand, and I've been loving the embroideries. I've been loving the tie dyes. Can you tell me a little bit about your process with that? Because I
Yeah.
think that some people who don't really understand, they're like, "What? Does she have a bunch of patches?" And they're like,
No,
"That's
no, no, I'm definitely one of those
tell us
people.
about your process."
Yeah,
Because
I'm
it's
one
not
of
just a T-shirt with patches; it's more than that.
yeah,
It's
so
way more than that.
it is, and I'm kinda one of those people that the way that I'm kind of, like, eco-conscious or sustainable, I'm not like Lila where I'm, like, 0 waste, so I try to find other ways to do my part. But all my small batch manufacturing is done by myself, so I don't buy patches, I don't outsource all my tie-dye, I don't at first, I was actually outsourcing my screen printing, but I just bought this big printer with a heat press, and I'm going to do all my own screen printing as well, which I'm super excited. So
Wow.
everything that you buy from me, literally, like we're hooping in the studio and we're embroidering with the thread that we have. And as of maybe next month when this printer comes in, because everybody wants to screen print now,
Yeah, yeah.
and screen printing all our own stuff.
That's
And doing our
awesome.
own graphics. So it's really, really exciting. Everything is really thought out and done by the team. I'm yesterday, I took like 20 pairs of joggers and hoodies, and I just sat here and watched some TV and rubber banded them because we do all our tie dye in house as well.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, that's like the level of quality that you're getting something that's it's high quality. It's going to last you for a very long time.
Absolutely.
It may be a factor of myself that is I can't let go of control. But I really, really like to oversee everything that comes out of my studio and make sure it's the highest quality as possible. So, I mean, it's fun. It's good to be a part of the whole process of everything that I put out there.
Well, I love that, I think the benefit of having it so close by is that you're not having things shipped all over,
Oh,
the
yes.
country a million times, right? To get things completed. Like you're cutting down on your carbon footprint by keeping everything done in house and then shipping directly to, customers. So I would imagine the customer would really appreciate that it's actually been done by Brittany.
Yeah.
That it's actually it has a much more
Yeah.
connected
And we hold on to all the
feel.
blanks, but I mean, like a white t-shirt and like a black crew neck or V-neck or like a gray hoodie can be translated into so many different styles. So I hold
Mhm.
on to all of my inventory, and all my inventory comes out of Dallas. So like if I order something, I
Awesome.
can get it in like the next day if I order early enough. So
Wow.
it's good. Yeah.
Right.
So somebody orders something, it's really easy just to not hold on to like 100 units. I can hold on to like 5 at a time and just see how the orders go and then order a little more if I need it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, as people order the embroidery stuff, I stick it on the hoop, and it max takes like an hour, hour and a half for some of the more complex stuff, but it's done as you order it. So like I'm not sitting on just a bunch of stuff hoping that it sells and it doesn't sell and then I have to mark it down and just get rid of it. I feel like
That's
that's the part
wonderful.
of this fashion industry that's like so polluting. So like if I have,
Absolutely.
10 gray hoodies, and my butterfly hoodie is one of the best sellers thing ever happened and it didn't sell anymore, I could take that gray hoodie and then create a whole new style, like put
Excellent.
you know a screen printing on it or something. It's like those will
Mhm.
get used, and it's a sustainable way to do fashion. I'm not just sitting on 10 butterfly hoodies that I have to mark down to like $20 just to
Right.
move. I mean, that's what the fast fashion is doing, having
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Trying to compete on that, with those kinds of margins just doesn't make sense for small business. So the idea that you're really making it to order, I think makes it even that much more special. First of all, that there's not going to be, thousands of people running around in the same,
Yes.
sweatshirt, and comfort right now, you're right. It's the most, honestly, it's the most important thing. As soon as we're off of this call, I'm finding a sweatshirt. I wore the shirt for you. But I think that you're right. It's like it's so important to be able to make sure that we're not creating an inventory problem. Because I mean, their brands are sitting on billions of dollars of
Oh my
inventory and
goodness.
cannot
Mhm.
move it because it's they committed to that, random color. They committed to that, random design that now no
Right.
one wants.
And it is a brand thing. Like they're taking a risk, hoping that it sells. And if it does, then it's great. But if it doesn't, it's just sitting there. And so it's also a really good way that I can control the quality of my product. So
Absolutely.
I'm not opening up a box that came from, somewhere in New York where they produce all this stuff. And I have this crazy surprise of like half of the sweatshirts not being exactly like I want them, which happens
Hmm.
all the time. You know that.
Hmm.
So I can sit there, that day and make sure it's absolutely perfect before it gets ships out and I'm not wasting, you
That's
know,
awesome.
all this clothing.
Yeah. So tell me, so where is your studio located? Because I thought that your setup was, and the evolution of your setup is really cool.
Yeah. So I started the top floor of my house. And then my husband has this State Farm agency here in Austin, and he had this huge conference room in the back. So I was like, you know what, let me move into this. I have a great landlord that's very lenient on the rent. But yeah, so he has this really, really big room, and we're actually right now knocking out a bunch of walls. So I'll have 100 or 1,000 square feet for a big studio. So I'm going to be painting and like putting in, production tables and getting some more machinery. So it's going to be a small batch manufacturing essentially in the next couple of weeks. So we
That's
really
awesome.
everything in house. Um,
Congratulations.
yeah, it's just about a quarter of a mile away from my house up north. I know it's so nice. But yeah,
Amazing.
we do everything, in that little room.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, during this time, I know that you've been able to.
I want to join in on the call.
Yeah, we might have a yes, baby, I see.
He has a lot to say about
Um,
sustainability.
he does. Sustainability is very, very important. No, I love that, things are, you're able to manage the business really close to home. You're, looking at sustainability. You guys are expanding the workspace. Kind of as you see your brand evolving, kind of, have you been looking oh, do you know, before I get into that, one of the things that you'd mentioned before was about um, just kind of the expectation of what kind of came out of Project Runway with the brand and kind of doing these in-person appearances. But, as we're doing this today, right, we're doing these virtual
Yeah.
experiences, talking to one another. Have you seen some interesting things that have been happening in that space for you? Because, people still want to see you. We want to hear from you and what you're working on and how the brand is growing. So have you had some really, interesting virtual experiences where you've been talking about the brand?
Yeah, like coming out of the show, I had so many paid like public appearances and like all these talks and everything just at once got canceled. So it's kind of, forced me to be really creative with what I do digitally. Because people want to see something new, but they also just don't want to sit there and, like watch on their screen you talk for, hours on end. So I'm part of this thing with my friend Barry. We're doing this like flourish event where all these creators are coming together and they're talking about a really important cause. And it's like drag queens and fashion designers. And it's just showing your process while talking about something that really we're all passionate about. But I think it's all force all of us really to show a side of our creativity in a way that's digitally appealing to the market. I 30 years old, I never would have thought that I would have like downloaded TikTok and like done that whole thing. But, I got on there and I was like, what's this all about? And I had like 300 followers. Like the longest time I was not making a dent. And I just started thinking, people really want to see content that is going to help them or, bring joy into their life. And I, realized there's so many small businesses or, teenagers that are like, I want to be a business owner. I want to start my own brand early. And there's so many kids out there that are like, I'm selling scrunchies and they're really successful. And so I started doing some videos on like branding and packaging and like how you
Mm,
can tie dye at home. And I've had videos that have gone viral. And In like 3 weeks, I got like 12,000 followers.
Whoa!
Yeah, so
You're a
it's
TikTok
exciting.
queen.
Some of these kids have like millions and millions of followers.
Yeah.
But yeah, 12,000, no big deal.
but I'm thinking like the growth from 300 to 12,000 in 3
like
weeks is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. I think you're on your way, right?
Easier to get followers than Instagram. Instagram is pretty cutthroat.
Yeah.
It's a different market too. So as a fashion designer, you're like, how can I speak to, my Instagram followers are mostly like 25 to 55, which I love that market so much because they really are just like all about the fashion. And then what my target market, which I mean, like we've talked about brand probably too many times. You know that my target market is actually, I started out a little bit younger, and it's kind of changed since then. It's kind of morphed into something else, but it started at like 18 to 38. And I was like, how can I speak to that 18-year-old market? And that is TikTok. So in a different way, but I've gotten sales off of that digital platform. And it's just right now, it should be that creatives are trying something that they've never tried before or doing something different. I did tie-dye on the show, but that was also in like 9 hours on camera.
You're like, oh God, yeah. It has to turn out.
Right. Christian can't save me again.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying new stuff. Now's the time to do that. And that's digitally, that's, you in your kitchen doing tie-dye or, talking about things that are helping other creatives because it's such a trying time right now. And we all have to do it all together.
No, we really do. And I love that you're taking an approach where you're really looking at, okay, well, what are the other kind of tools that we have in our toolkit? And then how can we use those tools like the most creatively we possibly can? And you're right. It's so key to like find ways to, I mean, TikTok is, it is completely transformed the way that we're
different animal.
It really is, but it's something that you have to be there, and I think that it's been really cool to see all of the content that's been coming out and the shift that's happening there. So I'm curious to see like where that develops because I think that that's something being in the video space is really much more. I know we need to talk to each other. We need to feel like we're engaging.
Yeah, it's different. And videos are harder because in Instagram, which is much more of our market and our generation, it's one picture. Like I can literally just get in my studio, take a picture, do a couple edits, and then post that. Whereas a video, it's like, if you're showing like a progression of a couple of days, something kind of coming to fruition, it's like, let me capture a couple seconds here and a couple seconds here. So it takes a lot more effort. People really love to see process. And they like to see, I want to see you start from a white garment and then end like this beautiful tie-dye that you've embroidered. Like they want to see every step. So it does take a little bit more effort, but you're giving people a better glimpse into what you do.
Right. No, it's so true. I think that we really do want to be on a journey. We want to see evolution. We want to feel change. We had done a talk a few weeks ago with Ed Jones. He's on our advisory board here at the Incubator. And, we were talking a bit about like this, like, coming out of a, cocoon, kind of become, this process of evolution. Yeah, like your butterfly, like you're like, we're coming out of this crazy pandemic, we've been cooped up in the house, but while we're here, we want to go on a journey somewhere else. We want to be able to kind of time travel with you. We want to see what you're doing, what you're up to. That's all for today. Thanks so much for joining us for ACCFI Presents. Definitely come back and join us next week for our next segment in this series. If you particularly enjoy the content that you're seeing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, keep up with our conversation on our social media handles at ACC Fashion Incubator on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll see you guys next time.